Look, I know. Everybody loves you. Everybody loves the way you smell. Everybody loves the way you look. I get it, but you're expensive, okay? You're making me destitute. I can't be spending all this money on you. So that's why I'm moving on. I found somebody else, somebody that doesn't make me spend as much money, and somebody that frankly is a little bit thicker and just as sweet. Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. I hope you're doing well. A while back I asked you guys, what is a cologne fragrance that when you got it in, you smelled it for the first time, you thought to yourself, there's not even a point to buy the original anymore. The cologne is just as good or is such a great bang for the buck that it has replaced the original fragrance for me. You guys gave me your answers and you voted, and in today's video, we're gonna be going over those fragrances. The 10 fragrance clones that are so good you don't even need the original, according to you. As always, guys, I'll have these linked in the description. Feel free to check them out down there. And thank you everybody that commented and voted. If you want to be potentially in a future video, check out the community tab on the YouTube channel. There's going to be something on there, a question that I've asked, and you can answer that or vote and possibly be in a future video. Let's jump right into this one. First comment comes from IRBent2-IRBent2. For whatever reason, clones have caught my attention here lately. And of all of the ones that I've purchased, and I've purchased a lot, COMRA is the only one that I bought a backup bottle of. Untold arrives this weekend. We'll see. Gotta love that. Untold arrives this weekend. So COMRA was the top vote getter. Countless of you guys out there voted on this one as your favorite. It was one of those deals where you scroll down and it was like COMRA all over the place. Pretty easily, I can say that this is the #1 choice. And COMRA is an alternative to Angel Share from by Kilian. And I think this is a great alternative to that fragrance. It's kind of like Angel Share with a twist, but it is done so well. It just stands out as its own fragrance and also as an alternative to Angel Share. And even the presentation looks really nice. Like, yeah, it's a blatant, obvious copy of Angel Share with the presentation. But as far as clone fragrances go, this is one of the better looking ones out there. We'll follow that up with We Can Jump, who keeps it very simple. He just says, Detour Noir might be my favorite fragrance. So that's good, man. Awesome. I do love that though. What is the greatest cologne fragrance ever? Detour Noir might be my favorite. It is super good though. This fragrance smells similar to Parfums de Marly Leighton. It's a great alternative to that fragrance, a perfect clone really when you consider the price point of this one. Like the bang for buck here is just crazy. And it gets you that same compliment factor, that warm, sweet, sexy, spicy feel that Leighton has. You get that with this one. As I've said, the only drawback with Detour Noir is gonna be the presentation. It doesn't look that good. It looks pretty cheap. The whole thing looks inexpensive. The cap, the bottle, everything. Even like the writing on the front of the bottle here on mine is like flaking off. And it's not even that I've sprayed all that much out of it. I mean, I've worn it a number of times, obviously, and I hold the bottle like this when I spray it. I spray it like that, kind of like putting, you know, this part of the bottle into the palm of my hand. But that has caused the writing to flake off. But none of that matters because the fragrance is friggin' awesome. For the price point, this stuff is killer. Follow that up with a comment from Zane P67 who says, I really enjoy Oud for Glory. It's really close to Initio, Oud for Greatness, and it has done me well over this last winter. For the price, it's a no-brainer. This is another one from Lattafa where you can tell they're just directly copying the presentation, just leaving nothing to the imagination. They're just letting you know straight up, yes, that's what we're doing. We're copying that fragrance, deal with it. Sometimes you get stuff like Detour Noir where you look at that bottle and you're like, okay, I have no clue what that's a clone of. And the name Detour Noir, does that have anything to do with Leighton? No. So with this one, if you've never heard of it before, you would have to spray it on and wear it to know what this is gonna be. With something like this, where they're basically copying the whole presentation, the name, everything, you know the drill. It is very good though. And as Zane says, this is a very nice alternative to Oud for Greatness, and Oud for Glory was brought up numerous times as well. So was Detour Noir. These three, they were probably the ones that were brought up the most, the first three that I've mentioned. Parks has our next comment, who says, Lattafa Fakar Black. I watched your video on it, ordered it, and at first sniff I was blown away. it immediately reminded me of being at a mall. I eventually was gifted a YSL sample and the Lattafa was spot on. So yeah, you make reference there to it smelling like a mall fragrance, and a lot of people would say that because people would basically think of those fragrances that are constantly being sprayed out at a mall, whether you're talking Ulta, Sephora, wherever. But those fragrances that are constantly being sprayed, both on tester strips and people dousing themselves down in the stores, you know, they kind of conglomerate and you get that mall smell, that designer smell. So Fakar Black, this is, as you allude to, a clone of YSL Y Eau de Parfum. For the price point, this is a great choice if you're looking for a blue fragrance on the cheap. Something versatile and compliment pulling. And this is like the opposite of what Lattafa did with COMRA and Oud for Glory. Those ones, you know what they're copying. This one, Fakar Black, nah, that doesn't look like YSL at all. I mean, on the back, it looks like fish scales or something. I don't know, but it's still a solid one. How to pronounce this next one? Yufuke Palat. Yeah, that's good. We'll go with that. After owning 120 plus fragrances, I can tell honestly that Oud from Lattafa is one of my best. Also, something that most people don't know is, if memory serves correctly, one of the Hollister fragrances was a spot-on clone of Dior Sauvage Eau de Toilette. I would recommend that one because no one talks about it and it's dirt cheap. So guys, if you know about that Hollister Dior Sauvage clone, drop a comment in the comment section, fill people in. What is it that our friend is talking about? Lattafa's popularity has exploded over the past year or two. And of course, the main reason for that is they're kind of cloning a bit of everything. If it's really popular, they're gonna try to come out with something. That's the way it seems. And they're putting them out there at a faster clip than their competitors. You know, Armaf, Afnan, Rasasi, they don't come out with stuff quite as fast, but legitimately their stuff is sick. Some of these clones that they're coming out with are just ridiculously close to the real deal for so much less. So Oud, this is a clone of Sauvage Elixir from Christian Dior. And essentially, if you want Sauvage Elixir on the cheap, Oud, this is all you need. This is the one. Iki48 is up next with Midnight Oud by Ard Al Zafran. It's an almost spot-on clone of Interlude Man. Goes for only 30 bucks retail. Honestly, a must-have. So Midnight Oud, the presentation on this one, the box makes you know right away it's a dead ringer for Interlude Man. And as you say, this is a fantastic clone, once again. For a long time, this was only available on eBay. That's where I got my bottle from, because no discounters carried it for whatever reason. I would assume because the house is not as big as like a Lattafa or Armaf or whatever as far as clones go. But if memory serves correctly, it did pop up at a discounter here recently. I saw it when I was looking through one of them. Feel like it was probably Fragrance by, could have been Joma Shop, but I think Fragrance by. And yes, Interlude Man, you want an alternative to that. This right here, one of the absolute best that you can find. That one got a little bit of a hype train when it first kind of caught on, and I do think it's worthwhile. I think that was warranted hype when you consider bang for your buck. YMKB says, Rasasi La Yukawam shreds Tuscan leather, hands down. This feels like Fallout, like they say in Fallout, like war never changes. La Yukawam never changes. Doesn't have quite the same ring to it, does it? But La Yukawam, when it first started to catch on with everybody, that was kind of the word on the street. You know, it's better than Tuscan leather. That's how good it is. The one thing that I think holds La Yukawam back a little bit from being even bigger is that it's expensive for a clone fragrance. I've seen this go for, $70 or more. And so when that happens, when you have a clone that's priced like that, you'll have a lot of people who kind of question it. Like, well, if I'm starting to get that close to the real deal, which admittedly, Tom Ford is still much more expensive. But if I'm starting to get up there in price for the clone, maybe I should go for something else. But as long as that doesn't bother you, the price point, this is just stunning. First time I smelled it, I was blown away. The quality here is frankly fantastic. And the thing that makes it stand out even more is that when this fragrance really dropped, a lot of clones weren't as good. The quality on a lot of them was kind of iffy at best. On a bunch of them, very subpar, frankly. The ones I have in front of me here in terms of quality are much higher than the stuff in general that was coming out around the time frame of this one. La Yucawam absolutely would be my first choice for a Tuscan leather alternative. Watch and Sprays up next. He says, I have a lot of favorite clones, which I've featured on my channel, but one of the top best reproduced ones is Amber Oud Rouge by Al Haramain, a great BR540 Extrait de Parfum clone. Now, this one I had, and I gave it away. So check this out. This is magic. Look, I'm holding a bottle of Amber Oud Rouge. This is legit. For real though, it's a quality alternative to BR540. I just have so many of them, frankly. BR540, one of those scents that, like Aventus, there's a bunch of them out there. A bunch of alternatives, I mean to say. Also, first time hearing about Watch and Spray's channel. Looks like he has a little over 300 subs. I'll link him in the description. So let's see if we can get him some more subscribers, get him a little more support. Again, link in the description to his channel. Go over there, drop some comments, watch some videos, show him some love. Eden BRZ is up next and says, I was pleasantly surprised by how similar our Mauve Club de Nuit Milestone is to Creed's Millesime Imperial. The salty watermelon smell is amazing during the summer. Yes, Milestone is very Millesime Imperial-y. They nailed it with this stuff. If you like Millesime Imperial, which I do, and you don't want to spend the money on it, this is what you need. Yes, there are other designer fragrances out there that have a similarity to Millesime Imperial, such as Unforgivable by Sean John, but Milestone is what I would point most people toward. Last one is from Chirp. Chirp. C-H-U-R-P. Chirp. Rayan Tradition 2 Wild. Still the best since Pure Havana is discontinued. Yes, Pure Havana is discontinued. Yes, that is depressing. And yes, this is a very good alternative to Pure Havana on the cheap. All these things are true. Very solid. And it's depressing to me because Pure Havana, that was my favorite Mugler. Pure Malt was up there too. Really dig Pure Malt, but Pure Havana. So if maybe you missed Pure Havana, if you weren't collecting or buying or smelling or wearing fragrances when that one was in its heyday, you know, during its peak, and now you don't want to pay the price that that fragrance commands on the secondary market, which I don't blame you. This right here will get you pretty close for way less money. So I can sign off on this one too. Insurrection 2 Wild, very solid. So these fragrances were the ones right up toward the top, the ones that got the most votes. Again, thank you everybody for commenting, everybody for voting with your thumbs up. I do also want to bring this one up because it was up toward the top, but it's not really a direct clone, and it's Mustache Eau de Parfum. This one got a lot of love, and obviously this is an alternative to Tuxedo from Yves Saint Laurent. At this point though, I would say Maison Alhambra the Tux. That would be the clone to get for Tuxedo. But Mustache Eau de Parfum got a lot of love, so I wanted to make sure to feature this as well, even though it's not really a clone, right? All right, guys, that'll do it for me. Thank you for hanging with me. Thank you guys so much. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.